Hey, so I know you've been watching on social media about this form called the BOI Form, the Beneficial Ownership Information Form. I know you've probably heard about all these like catastrophic, super high fees and things like that. I'm here to tell you do not panic. You know, son, you got you. So I'm going to use this episode to walk you through the commonly asked questions about the BOI form because we got to nip some things in the bud here. All right, get your pen and paper. I'll see you on the other side. Let's go. What's up, everyone? I know it's been a minute, so welcome to From Chaos to Clarity, Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. I am your host, Sonja Jones of GIP Financials, your Mr. Miyagi of Money, and I am here in the illustrious man cave of my husband, Rico. So shout out to my baby. He's actually painting my office as we speak. So I wanted to shout him out for that and let me use his man cave to record my podcast episode. Also want to shout out River City Capital. This is not a advertisement or anything, but I just wanted to shout them out since I had their hoodie on. They're one of our partners doing great work. They're a CDFI here in Memphis, Tennessee, that helps the um, underserved entrepreneurs get funding. So shout out to Luther, Ron, Amelia, um, Wapiller, the whole River City crew. Shout out to y'all. So we are going to talk about this cotton picking BOI form because I was on TikTok a while ago and folks were basically using those fines as scare tactics. And I was like, I don't like that. We're not doing that. We're going to teach the people right. And yes, the fines are very high. It's supposed to be $500 a day every day that you don't file. I think with a maximum fee of like $10,000. And on top of that, if they're not scaring folks into trying to get this form filed on the back end, they're saying we can file it for you for a nominal fee. That you can file this form for free by yourself. It's simple, and that's why I'm here because I got on TikTok. I said my little piece. Some folks listened to it, and it's gotten quite a bit of views and comments and all that type of stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do a podcast episode on it. I'm also in the works of doing a seminar locally here in Memphis. So I'll let you guys know about that. It'll definitely be taking place before the end of 2024 because I believe it's going to be hybrid, in person, and virtual. So if that is the case, I will let y'all know. We're going to talk about this BOI form, right? Again, BOI is an acronym for Beneficial Ownership Information. Okay. And the beneficial ownership information form stemmed from a larger act called the Corporate Transparency Act. Okay. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot about the CTA and all of that, but just know, um, due to the events of the pandemic, I'll just keep it at that. There were a lot of ghost entities being formed, um, basically to shield, the activity of some, operations and things like that. So, under the Biden administration, they came up with the Corporate Transparency Act. And with that being said, they were like, hey, we need to lock down all these, entities that are being formed through, the Secretary of State, depending on which state you are in, right? Because every state has a Secretary of State, and that's where you actually form your business entity, right? And so the feds are getting in to say, look, if you're going to be creating these business entities, we need to know who you are and who the owners are. So that's pretty much where the BOI form comes in. Okay. So, like I said, it's just identifying who owns a company or who controls a company. So who needs to file? And I get this question a lot. So I just copied and pasted this directly from FinCEN. And basically, to summarize it, if your entity has to be created through the Secretary of State, you, ma'am, you, sir, your business has to complete a BOI form. So if it's an LLC or corporation, probably some trust, nonprofits, you may have to file this form. There are some exemptions that qualify some companies. I would definitely suggest that you take a look at the FinCEN website. And as soon as you get to the FinCEN website, you get the big old, like the center square, and then underneath it, you're going to have the FAQs. Click on those FAQs and you can search for those exemptions. There are a total of 23 exemptions. And once you take a deep dive into those exemptions, they also break down, like, you know, what's required for you to claim said exemption. Okay. So make sure that you are reading that slide. If you are a domestic reporting company, meaning that your company was created in the United States and you're actually doing business with your company within the United States, okay, that means there's a good chance you will have to complete that BOI form. So make sure that you read that information. Again, nonprofits, you cannot assume that you are exempt. Okay, because I know a lot of times, ooh, I'm tax exempt. You got to make sure that you read that stuff. Okay. And then also, if you are a sole proprietor, means you operate a business, but you have not created an LLC with your respective Secretary of State. You do not have to complete the form. This does not apply to you. Okay. So when do you file? The actual law did not go into effect until January the 1st, 2024. But here are basically the parameters. If your company was started before January the 1st, 2024, you actually have until the end of this year to file your BOI form. Okay. If your company was created in 2024, okay, after January the 1st, then you have 90 days from the day that the company is formed or is legally active. Okay, so I think for in the state of Tennessee, you can actually create your LLC and then get your articles of organization almost instantly as soon as you pay for it, of course, right? So I would interpret that as if I created my LLC in Tennessee, I pay my $300 and then they send me the articles of organization, then that's when the clock starts. Okay. So again, if you created your LLC or created your entity, I'm gonna stop saying LLC. I'm gonna say entity so I can capture everybody, right? Because it's not just LLCs. So if you started your entity after January 1st, 2024, you have 90 days from the day that that entity is formed to complete your BOI form. Now, if you plan to start a business and you want to start your entity with the Secretary of State January 1st, 2025, pay attention. You got 30 calendar days. And these are calendar days, y'all, not business days, calendar days. So the clock, it's game on. I would highly recommend, if you, especially if you're starting a new business, just go ahead and make a day of it. You go ahead and start your business with the Secretary of State, and then you go right on over to FinCEN and file that form. Okay. So here are some of the frequently asked questions that I've gotten on TikTok about the BOI form. So the first question is, my entity has been inactive for years. Do I still need to file? Now, I'm very leery about the word inactive. And so, like I say on my TikToks, when I hear the word inactive, I'm hearing disillusion. So, in Secretary of State language, if your entity is inactive, there's a good chance it may be dissolved, meaning that the Secretary of State or you um, close the entity out. Okay, in the state of Tennessee, because that's what I'm familiar with. If you don't renew your entity, every year, there's a good chance that the state will, they call it an administrative dissolution, right? So they will dissolve it or make it inactive due to you not taking care of your business and paying the annual fee, renewal fees, right? So, say if your entity is still with the Secretary of State, but you notice that it has been administratively dissolved, um, here's the caveat. If the dissolution date was before January the 1st, 2024, then you will not be required to file. But if your entity was dissolved after January the 1st, 2024, then you will still need to file the BOI form. Okay? So be clear on that. All right? So check with your Secretary of State and check the dissolution date of your entity. Okay, like I said, state of Tennessee, you go to Tennessee Secretary of State and you can actually search for the actual business, and it'll give you the control number, the name of the business, whether or not it's currently active or inactive, and then you can click on it and get all the details and stuff like that. Okay, so I hope that helps. Next, I created my entity, but I haven't made any money. Do I still need to file? If your entity is active, the answer is yes. Okay. The BOI, y'all, has nothing to do with taxes and whether or not you made any money. This is only about ownership. Okay. So if you started your LLC last year and you've had losses on your tax return, you still need to file because um, your entity is still active. Okay. And remember, just make sure that you go back and look at the parameters as far as when you started your entity in the filing deadlines. Okay, but again, this has nothing to do with whether or not your entity made any money. It's about ownership. If that entity is still active, you, ma'am, you, sir, have to complete the BOI form. I earn 1099 income. Do I still need to file? Again, this has nothing to do with income, but I do want to mention, if you receive 1099 income as an independent contractor, your business, you can receive 1099 income under your personal social security number. You can receive 1099 income as a sole proprietor, meaning that you have a separate LLC for your business, but you don't have an LLC. You haven't registered your business as an entity with the Secretary of State. Okay. Or you can receive 1099 income as, as a business, and your business is an actual entity, LLC, corporation, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. So, like I said, it does not have to do with income. It depends on how you're receiving that income. So, if GIP Financials, we do receive 1099 income. All right. Because we are an LLC that's registered with the state of Tennessee, we do have to file the BOI form. Okay. So again, it does not have anything to do with income. It's all about ownership. All right, next. I have a trust. Do I still need to file? Again, any entity that has to be formed through the Tennessee Secretary of State has to go through it. I did search in the FAQs for the BOI form about trust, and there are specific types of trust that have to complete the form. So, especially if you created a trust through an attorney or maybe through a third party or something like that, I would definitely reach out to the organization or the attorney who created your trust to get some clarity on that. Okay, and then also verify with your Secretary of State, because sometimes when we do things through attorneys, they file those things on our behalf and create things on our behalf. So I would definitely check with the third party, whoever did it on your behalf, and then also check with the Secretary of State. I have a business partner. Do we need to file? Well, again, if you and your business partner, I would assume that if you guys have a general partnership and it's a multi-member LLC, meaning that you and the partner are co-owners of the LLC, then yes, you will need to file. And the form is easy to where you can add, you know, each beneficial owner. All right. So when you get to that section, you just click on add new owner and put the owner's information in. But hear me clearly, when you um, complete that form and you're adding the beneficial owner's information, you do have to upload either your driver's license, your ID, or passport. So I just want to prepare y'all for that. Okay. So for me, when I completed my form, I had to um, put in my name, my address, all that stuff. Uh, what? Take it. What? Oh no, I'm recording. So I'm good, baby. I already gave you a shout out and everything. Yeah. So you have to make sure that each owner has ID, driver's license, or um, passport when you complete the form. Okay. I closed my entity. Do I need to file? It depends on the date that you closed your entity. Remember what I said. If you closed your entity before January 1st, 2024, you not need to file. Okay, because the law didn't go into effect till January 1st, 2024. Okay. If you close your entity in 2024, you still need to file the form. Okay. So that's that on it. I just found out about this, man. These folks gonna penalize me. The question is, I don't know. I don't know. I can only go by what they've already said. So, say for example, if you created your entity in January of 2024, right? We're gonna start the year off fresh with new business. Technically, you had 90 days to, get your BOI form together. So that'll be January, February, March, April, right? 90 days. If you're just finding out about it now, I say still go ahead and file. Go ahead and file. And then we wait. Okay. Um, we are recorded. It is November 13th, 2024. We just had an election. We don't know what the new administration may do with this. Okay. So the only thing I can tell you is just go ahead and file. Go and get it out the way and then wait for a letter from FinCEN to see what's going to happen with the fines and the penalties. Okay. But one thing I definitely will say is I can only speak for the state of Tennessee. And I have yet to receive, and my LLC is active, honey, but I have yet to receive any correspondence from the Tennessee Secretary of State. I have not received any hey big head letters, text messages, phone calls, emails, none of it. But if you go on the Secretary of State's website, they got a big old banner that says, oh, by the way, BOI stuff. Okay. I personally believe that Secretary of State's, y'all should have done a better job. I can't speak for the other ones. Tennessee, you get F because you should have done better. You should have done better because there's too many folks asking about this and not knowing what's going on. All right. And just, me, I'm on my soapbox now. Just the state of the economy now, and those fines are just ridiculous. Okay. So, like I said, you want to stop the bleeding by go ahead and file the form and just wait to see what FinCEN does or says about those fines. Okay. So, to get information about the BOI form, this is the website. I'm looking at it over here. This is the website that you need to go to, fincen.gov/BOI. This is the government. FinCEN is the governmental department that's overseeing this process. Remember, this is our brand. We are going to send you straight to the horse's mouth. We are not going to send you through no third party, none of that. If you file it through FinCEN, you will not have to pay any filing fees. Okay, that's what I saw on the website. I had folks, messaging me asking, could I file it for them? I said, absolutely not, because you can do it on your own. I'm not going to charge you for that. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. Y'all, it takes like, I'll say, including uploading your ID or passport, you taking a picture of it or scanning it and uploading it to the form, probably gonna take you about 10 minutes. 5 minutes just to take the picture of the ID or scan your stuff and upload it to the form. That's it. That's all you got to do. Um, I'm trying to mentally go through it in my head. But once you click on there, you have the option to either e-file or do it on paper and then mail it in. But if you do it e-file, they're going to ask you about your personal information. Because my entity was created before January 1st, 2024, I didn't have to do the reporting company portion of it. Um, and basically, like I said, the reporting company, I had talked about that in the previous slide. It's just they just want to know what type of entity it is, and just I guess you get just put your information in there. But all I had to do was I had to put in the EIN for my for GIP. I had to put that it was an LLC. They're gonna ask what type of entity it is. I did have to put my EIN number in there, and then my personal information because I am, the beneficial owner of GIP, and I just uploaded my driver's license. So once you do all that, it will create a form for you. It'll give you a confirmation. Oh, that's why I forgot to mention. At the beginning, it's going to ask if you want to create a FinCEN ID. I personally did it only because they're going to give you a confirmation at the end of the filing. So if you need a unique identifier, you can just use that. Um, Trying to think. So yeah, when I did create the form or completed the form rather, not only it's very much kind of like the Tennessee Secretary of State no Articles of Organization. You better download it and print it off as soon as you get done, because afterwards, it's pretty much poof. Or like getting your EIN from the IRS. That probably was the better example. But after you complete the BOI form, make sure that you download the confirmation, and they actually are going to give you a copy of the actual form that you submitted and all your responses. It's going to be about 3 pages long. Well, mine was 3 pages because it was just little old me. So make sure that you download that. Right? If you got a printer at home, I would print it and download it. If y'all follow GIP financials, you should have an entity folder. Guess what's going in that entity folder? The BOI form. Mm-hmm. Yep. You only have to complete this form one time unless you have a change in your entity. If you got a change in your entity, then you'll have to change and update your BOI form. But other than that, this is a one and done. Okay. So I hope that this information was helpful to you. Again, the FinCEN.gov website was very, very helpful. They have a YouTube channel, y'all. They got videos. There's no way you can mess this up. And you can contact them. And you can get text updates. I mean, there's no way you can mess this up. Okay? So here's your homework. Please complete the BOI form. Do your homework, do your research, and complete the BOI form before your designated deadline. Okay. And then if you need to reach out to FinCEN, go to their website. They have ways that you can contact them. All right. As well. This is the end of the show. That's the end of the show. So again, y'all, if this was helpful to you, I'm going to also make sure that you guys are aware of our online community, GIP Academy. If you have gone through this episode and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna probably need some more help. Check out gipacademy.com, and we are bringing in folks, one subscription at a time. If you need expert financial advice, um, and you want to make sure that your tax filing is right, and you need that extra level of support, you can do it by yourself, but you just need an extra set of eyes on it. That's the whole purpose of GIP Academy. We're here to make sure that you are tracking your financials the right way. If you need help understanding your metrics with your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your cash flow, all that. If you're trying to apply for a grant and you don't know where to start, come on to GIP Academy. It's $97 a month for less than $3 a day. Or I think around $3 a day. You can get the financial help that you need and access to GIP. That subscription is tax deductible, right? That's a tax deductible expense for your business. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to share this information with you again. Thank y'all for tuning in to the From Chaos to Clarity Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. I'm your host, Sonja Jones, your Mr. Miyagi of Money. We will see you on the next episode. Peace. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in to the From Chaos to Clarity Unleash Your Business Potential podcast. Again, my name is Sonja Jones of GIP Financials, your Mr. Miyagi of Money. And look, if you learned something from this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure that you like, that you subscribe. If you have some little nuggets, add some comments to the comment section of this podcast. But most importantly, I want you to share it with your fellow entrepreneurs. We want to share this good old fundamental business finance education so you can have the tools necessary to know your numbers and grow your business. All right. Take care, y'all. I'll catch you on the next episode.